guys, welcome back to Watch the Time. Thanks for tuning back in. Thanks for coming back to see me. I'm really pleased you've done so. So today I'm featuring an Invicta. This is one that's been in my shopping basket on Amazon for quite some time actually. It's normally on there, they normally sell for about £80. In the recent sale, I managed to pick it up for £52. So I thought no time like the present to pick one up. What intrigued me about this watch is Invicta are known for their quite big watches, quite brash designs if you like, which a lot of people like, which is cool. I like the fact that this one's a little bit smaller. This is 42mm, it's a skeleton watch, it's got mechanical movement inside, it's got their flame fusion crystal, which I believe is more like a mineral than a sapphire. I might be wrong, but that's my belief at this point. But yeah, it was a watch that I really wanted to get in for a while. There's a few different colour variations to choose from. I've gone for this one. The model number for this is the 23533. Yeah, like I said, I just wanted to get one in because it's a little bit different. I've been accused in the past of not really giving Invicta a fair chance. So I thought rather than going for sort of like the divers, I've gone for something a little bit different. So hopefully it'll give me a little bit of a different slant on what Invicta are doing. And like I said, by the end of the video, you'll know if it's for you or not. If it is, please use the link. If not, I'm sure there's other videos for you on my... I've done before, I've done in the future, so there you go. But thanks for tuning back in. There's no time like the present to get the camera turned around and get on with it. Hi guys, so this is the watch, usual Invicta packaging. Excuse me, I do have a bit of a cold, so do bear with me. Yeah, Invicta, invincible in detail since 1837. Usual yellow box, as I've said. You just pull it open. Inside, you've got some details at the top. Got an extra warranty if available to you. Got the hang tag, which was attached to the watch. I've just obviously removed it because I've been wearing the watch, and I just tucked it up there, out of the way, in a foam, just to help keep it in place. Nothing over extravagant, but does the job. And then what you're left with is this watch. I've really enjoyed spending time with this watch. Really happy to get a different type of Invicta in. So this is the 23533. It's called the Invicta Specialty. It's obviously a skeletonized watch. Good proportions as well in my Amazon wish list for some time, to be honest, and I eventually managed to get it at a very good price. But let's see what it lives up to. So inside, it's running a mechanical. It's cited as being a JSD 006 SY movement. I'll bring some information up about that movement now. I could not find an awful lot of information about the movement. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. It looks really nice. I would surmise it's a sort of Chinese mechanical movement. It hasn't got a rotor, as you'll be able to see. All the information that I'm displaying at the moment is literally all that was available to me from sort of scouring online. But it has been running okay, to be honest. It's non-hacking, which is not my favourite, to be perfectly honest, but it's been doing the job. But yeah, that's the movement inside. The construction of the watch, so aside from the crystal on the front and back and the strap, is all 316L stainless steel, all high polished. The polish is not done too bad for the price. So the bezel, case, crown, which is sort of like a onion style crown if you like, outer part of the exhibition case back, and a pin buckle clasp, but all 316L stainless steel, as I said, all high polished. There's not really any brush surfaces on this watch. The case thickness of the watch is 12.4mm. The case diameter, I normally measure from the 8 to the 2 o'clock position. It was coming at bang on 42mm, and when you go from the 9 to the 3, including the crown, it was coming at 45.9mm. The lug width on this is 22, and the lug to lug, tip to tip, is bang on 48. So I think that's really, really good. The fact that it's a 42mm, a big part of that is the bezel, so the dial doesn't look too big. And the lug to lug 48 is a good sweet spot, isn't it? So I think it's really good proportions, to be honest, guys, and belies sort of what you'd expect with an Invicta being sort of oversized. So that's the proportions. The case back is pressed down. You'll see in the corner there's a little area for you to put a tool in to sort of shift it open, and just lots of writing going around there. Mineral crystal on the back, or flame fusion perhaps, which is on the dial as well, which we'll talk about in a moment. The bezel, as I said, is a high polished fixed bezel. The crown is situated at the 3 o'clock. It's a push-pull crown. So there we are. I haven't tried actually taking the crown out of my gloves on, so that should be interesting when we get to the dial. But there we go. That's that. The strap it comes on is a leather, not my best to be honest, quite tough. Wasn't the sort of nicest to sort of, had to break it in quite a bit before it started to feel comfortable. But yeah, there you go, leather strap down to the pin buckle clasp, as I've said, stainless steel, signed pin buckle clasp. The crystal covering the dial, I've already alluded to, as a Flame Fusion. Flame Fusion is the proprietary crystal used by Invicta for all intents and purposes. I think it's just a hardened mineral crystal from what I can make out. But one thing I will say about this, guys, the clarity on this crystal is pretty phenomenal, to be honest. Lots of the time when I'm wearing it, I can't even tell there's a crystal, and that is phenomenal, to be honest. That's to be applauded. So there we go. The water resistance of this watch is only 30 meters, so that would give you 3 atmospheres of water resistance, and the weight will appear in the top right. Bang on 70 grams. So there you go. That's the proportion so far, guys. But let's have a look at the dial in just a bit more detail. So you've got quite a pronounced rehaut. I don't know why there's such a big gap from there to the dial. You've got Roman numerals going from 1 to 11. You've got Invicta printed up at the 12 o'clock position. Inside of that, you've got a minute track, so you can obviously set the time exactly. So for someone like me, that is perfect, to be honest. I do like to be able to have my watch set perfectly. And then inside that, I'm really pleased to be able to see the movement. I like the way they've done the movement. It's not really too, it looks quite well finished. There's nice brushing, there's bits of polishing on there. You've got the jewels you can see, and I just think it looks really nice. You can see just in there, you'll see it turning. And these are the sort of things that, if you're new to watches, will get you hooked, because you start looking at the mechanism, you start seeing the heart of the watch, and you start learning about the sort of all the work and craftsmanship that's gone into sort of making these movements. And for me, that is what sort of had me hooked and fixed on watches for a long time now. Is I started with a Seiko 5 automatic movement. I could see the movement in the back, the old 7S26, and that was it. So with this watch, it's fantastic because you can see the movement on the front as well as the back. So it's going to really give you an aesthetic of what the movement looks like. When you turn the crown, if it gets hard, do not push past it, because with mechanical watches you can do some serious damage. But yeah, that's that, guys. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do it with my gloves. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that, guys. I had to use my fingers, but I take my gloves off. But that's it with the crown out. Only one position when you pull it out. It's a no-ghost position, which is good. You'll see it's a non-hacking movement, which I sort of picked up on when I showed you the movement before. But yeah, there you go. Put it back in. It will start back up again. You've got blacked hands. I didn't talk about the hands, excuse me. Good proportions on the hands, to be honest, given where everything is. Some might say the hour could be a little bit longer, but I think it's just about okay. Black, because we've got the Roman numerals are in black, so that's in keeping with the hands as well. Perhaps maybe a bit of colour might have been good, but I've not had any problems being able to tell the time with it like that. So there we go, guys. That's the dial, that's the movement, that's the hands. There's no loom, but this watch doesn't need loom. Let me just pop it on the wrist, give you an idea of what it looks like on my wrist. Okay, so guys, that's what it looks like on my wrist. You got 3 holes to make it tighter, several to make it looser. So yeah, you're gonna be able to get this watch fit multiple wrist sizes. I think it really does fit well on the wrist. I think it looks well on my wrist. My son's worn it. He's got a smaller wrist than me. It looked good on him. So yeah, I think this watch is gonna be good for a lot of wrist sizes. So there we go. Okay, so guys and girls, that would now take me on to what I think is pants and Pukka about the watch. If you've ever watched before, you know, always start with pants. I like to go on a high with Pukka. So what I think is pants, not a huge amount, but there's 3 things I would like to mention. So I'm going to mention the leather strap. It's extremely tough. I know it's an inexpensive watch. You could put another strap on there, given it's a 22mm, but I would like something a little bit better than that. The rehaut space, so you can see that there's a huge gap in that area. The dial's set quite a bit into the case. I'm not quite sure why it needed to be like that. And finally, the water resistance, 30 meters. It's splash proof at best. I would like to have seen 50 meters, maybe 100 on this watch. So they're the three things that I would mention: is the leather strap, rehaut space, and the water resistance. What I think is Pukka had to say it, didn't I? Crystal clarity. There's very few watches I've had in where it's been so nice to see how good the crystal is in terms of the clarity, in terms of potentially all the AR coating they've put on there if they've needed it at all, depending on the crystal. But yeah, that's fantastic. I really enjoyed being able to sort of record of this watch. The dial, in terms of the simplicity on the outer dial to the mechanical movement inside, I think it looks really, really cool. Yeah, the movement itself, the fact it's a mechanical movement which allows you to engage with it. So sort of every morning you'll turn the crown a few times till it gets to a point you can't turn anymore. So a bit of nice, cool mechanical movement. The size, I was one of those people, maybe silly of me to think that, but I thought Invicta watches were all huge. This has definitely changed my opinion on that. The price, I paid £52 for this watch, guys, and yeah, what can you say? A mechanical watch from a well-known brand for £52, not doing too bad, is it? And the general look of the watch, I think it looks really cool. There's a few different color variations to choose from. Actually, I'll bring them up now so you can make an informed decision for yourself on which one's going to be more in keeping with your taste. But this is the one I went for, and they're the other ones you could go for as well. So just to surmise what I think is Pukka, as I'll go with the crystal clarity, dial, movement, size, price, and the general look of the watch. And guys and girls, would I recommend this watch? I would. It's been my favourite Invicta by some way. Really enjoyed spending time with it. Wish I'd pulled the trigger earlier. It was on my Amazon watch list. But yeah, finally got it in, and it's a very cool piece. But guys and girls, please let me know what you think about this watch, more importantly. Maybe any other watches you may want to see on the channel. And as always say, don't forget to like, subscribe, and always watch the time. Take care, guys. All the very best.